Denella Ri'chard. I've made a career traveling the world. I've worked for some of the biggest names in travel, and now I've traded in my business suit for a swimsuit. Swimming with the sharks, swinging at the edge of the world, throwing back a few shots, or shall I say spirits. Woo. Eating some of the best cuisine, and even making a few furry friends along the way. I invite you to come along with me and discover the world. Welcome. In this special, we'll explore 2 southern destinations offering immersive cultural experiences for your summer travels, all in celebration of Juneteenth. It all started in 1865 in Galveston, Texas, when General Gordon Granger announced the liberation of over 250,000 enslaved people, more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. The first Juneteenth celebration was held in Galveston in 1866, a year after Granger's announcement. This holiday now commemorates the end of slavery and pays tribute to the sacrifices made to achieve freedom. Today, Juneteenth is widely celebrated across the United States on June 19th and is recognized as a federal holiday. In this hour-long special, we explore Beaufort, South Carolina, and Jackson, Mississippi, 2 southern destinations whose histories, like Texas, are deeply intertwined with the struggle for freedom. From the slave trade to the civil rights movement, these locations offer experiences that celebrate their culture and heritage while paying tribute to the remarkable leaders. Join us on a journey through these 2 southern states to uncover the inspiring legacy of Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day. Our first stop is Eli Benson's Gallery. Here, we'll explore the unique Gullah Geechee culture and how it's celebrated through art.
Hello.
Hello, Kenneth.
Good. Welcome to Eli Benson's Gallery in the Gullah Geechee Cultural Visitor Center.
Thank you.
We focus on the Gullah-Africa connection, and we're the #1 historic gallery in this area. What we try to do is to bring people all the way up from our experience not only in slavery, but to our experience in Africa. Okay. So you'll see in this gallery all the way from the authentic sweetgrass baskets that was made in this area. The Gullahs brought the skills of making sweetgrass baskets from Africa. Originally, they made what is called the fanners, and this is actual rice.
Wow.
They would pound it, and then they would fan it. The wind would blow away the shaft and retain the rice. And then over time, they started making more functional baskets as well. But it's an art that has been passed on over 400 years.
Now, can it tell me, how did the name Gullah Geechee, where did the name Gullah Geechee come from?
It's all out of West Africa. A lot of people like to say it's Angola. But basically, there were 2 tribes, a Gola tribe and a Kisi tribe. And over time, they became Gullah Geechee. But they're all from West Africa, mainly from rice-producing areas. A lot of them really came out of areas like Sierra Leone as well. We put a lot of emphasis on the history of this area. For instance, this is a model of a monument of Harriet Tubman that will be placed at the historic Tabernacle Baptist Church in Beaufort. Her story, along with the story of Robert Smalls, the stuff that movies are made out of. Robert Smalls, another daring person, was born right in Beaufort, and he commandeered the steamship Planter, turned it over to the Union forces, came into Beaufort, became a member of the South Carolina House of Representatives, the South Carolina Senate, and he served 5 terms in Congress. He's also buried at the Tabernacle Baptist Church.
Wow. unbelievable contributions in this amazing destination and island, right? As with Texas, South Carolina has a rich and dynamic history of African American communities that have proudly maintained their cultural heritage since the days of slavery. Juneteenth provides an opportunity to reflect on our past and celebrate our current successes. Come with me to discover the captivating culture of the Gullah Geechee people, who are the descendants of African slaves with West African, European, and Native American traditions. I've heard so many great things about Gullah and Geechee Mon tours, so today I'm meeting up with Kitty Green. Hi, Kitty.
Hi, Denella.
Hello.
It's so wonderful to meet you, dear.
It's so wonderful to be here.
And we are so excited about you being here at the Praise House. This is the Coffin Point Praise House. This was one of the larger plantations on St. Helena's Island. And this man was an abolitionist. So there's a lot of history and import to this building here on the island. Okay?
All right.
All right. I'd love for you to come in.
I would love to come in. So during slavery, a praise house would have been out in the middle of the cotton field, and this is where they would come.
This one was, but most of them would have been in the slave row.
Okay.
It would have been the first house on the slave row. That's what made this abnormal.
Got it.
So we assessed that it was a secret society. And then, of course, we found out later from research that this man was a part of the Underground Railroad.
So Miss Kitty, oh, this is beautiful.
It really is, but it's modest to say the least. When we look at South Carolina, we're talking about the 1%ers. Nothing's very much changed when we talk about economics. And these people controlled from North Carolina all the way down to above Jacksonville, Florida. Wow. So this house represents a modest house. This is called the Fripp Plantation. It was close to 800 acres. And at that time, it was a cotton plantation. That was the height of economics, the cotton era. Now, you know, there was rice and there was indigo and fur trading with Indians, all of that. But that cotton was king.
Cotton king.
Well, we're at the Brick Baptist Church, and this is the oldest Baptist church on the island. This church has never ceased to operate. It is on the National Historic Registry. It is also part of a reconstruction for the nation. This is what our President Obama did for us before he left office. So to hold on to traditions and to celebrate who we are and what we've done in America, and particularly this diaspora.
Miss Kitty, thank you for the work you're doing.
Oh, it's,
our story.
I'm learning more about me. You know.
Indeed, and I'm learning about me. Next, we step into the past at the historic Penn Center, the secret haven of the civil rights movement, where African American education and community development have thrived since the Civil War. Marie, I was told that I had to come here to Penn Center, that I could not leave Beaufort without stopping here. So tell me, what exactly is Penn Center?
They'll tell you exactly right. Penn Center is a school, first school in America for emancipated slaves. Started in 1862 by 3 courageous women. Laura Town, a Unitarian from Philadelphia, followed by Ellen Murray, a Quaker from Canada. 10 months later comes a black woman, Charlotte Fulton. But Charlotte could only stay 2 years. She became ill, had to go back home for treatment. Put together, those 3 women were missionaries who came here for the sole purpose of educating the newly emancipated people on this island.
And during those times, approximately how many children were in the school?
The peak enrollment was 600 students at one time. It was a day school and a boarding school. the thirst for knowledge was so great, kids were traveling by boats to get here to be educated.
So Marie, you describe yourself as a Gullah Geechee woman. What is a Gullah Geechee woman?
A Gullah Geechee woman is a woman who practiced their ancestors' folkways, foodways, the way of life, the way we communicate, the way we live. It takes a village to raise a child, and we have that same concept today. We work together as a family to make sure we all have what we need to survive.
And lastly, where we are here at Penn Station right now, is this considered a historical landmark?
Penn Station is a National Historic Landmark District. That means every building you see, we cannot change any of the architectural design on this campus. So this campus spans 50 acres of land. And the buildings you see on this campus, all built by the students enrolled in this program. Currently, there are 23 buildings still standing on this campus.
Marie, I'm told Dr. King spent some time here.
Yes, he came in maybe 5 or 6 times. That famous I Have a Dream speech was drafted right on this campus, along with the strategizing and planning for the March on Washington, along with the training for the boycotts and sit-ins. They were all done here. We call ourselves the secret haven of the civil rights movement that changed the world. We're very proud of our site, Penn Center.
Well, thank you for having me today.
You're quite welcome.
You're watching Traveling with Denella Ri'chard. In this 1-hour special, we celebrate Juneteenth, highlighting rich cultural destinations for your summer travels. Before my next stop, I did a little shopping for some authentic Gullah Geechee attire from K&M's Gullah Boutique.
What do you think? I like. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Nice.
I love it. Yes, it's perfect.
Yes.
All right. I think I'm going to be taking this with me.
Perfect.
All right.
All right.
I'm headed to visit my friend Larry at the Black Chamber of Commerce and then to savor Sandy's Southern Fried Chicken. The Black Chamber of Commerce is located in the heart of Beaufort and is the place where Black businesses thrive. Let's go.
Good afternoon, Denella.
Hi, Larry.
Welcome to the city of Beaufort. You are at the location of the most beautiful building in the city of Beaufort, owned by the Beaufort County Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to welcome you to our restaurant, who is owned by Sandy's. We're incubating Sandy as part of what we do with small Black businesses.
Okay.
We are looking forward to you eating one of Sandy's great meals today, and looking for you to look at some of the best art in the city of Beaufort.
Now, Larry, I'm told Sandy has the best fried chicken in Beaufort. Is that true?
That is absolutely true. Second to none, Denella.
Is it
And
crispy?
you will it is crispy as can be.
Hi,
Miss
Sandy. How you doing?
Pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Heard so much about you.
Well, I heard you make the best fried chicken in Beaufort.
That's what they told me.
Ah!
They say Sandy is something else at 711 Bladen Street, where you get nothing but the best.
All right.
Beaufort, South Carolina, 29902. Come and see me, anybody.
Hello.
Yes.
So, I'm gonna get a chance to cook with you today?
Yes,
All
you
right.
are. I heard that you're ready. And one thing I'm funny about my kitchen, so let's get gloved up and get
Okay.
started.
All right. All right.
Okay, we're gonna start with chicken.
Okay.
Prime Sandy's famous chicken.
All right.
And this is my chicken batter. I already was so excited hearing about you. I just went on and put it on in there.
Okay.
So we're gonna take it and you can go ahead and
Okay.
mix it up.
Just
And
mix
that
it up
secret
in the
ingredients
batter.
right there.
Okay.
Bring it the whole pan and you're gonna sit it right here.
Okay.
And what's gonna happen is I normally use a basket when I, got a lot that I'm trying to turn. But when it's a lot and I really want to get it done and get it over with,
Yes.
you pick it up and dust it. Dust it real good.
Okay.
On 375 to 400. That's what I do with wings because they take short, they don't take very long to cook.
Right. Okay.
And but you always want to shake all the
flour.
the extra
Excess
flour. Yes.
Okay.
And we're gonna move this out of the way until we need it.
Thank you. Okay.
And now you getting down,
All right.
girl, like you from Beaufort, South Carolina. take those gloves off, and then we're gonna go into the fish area.
Okay.
Now we already have it in some baste right
Okay.
here. So what's gonna happen, I don't like mess, because you always gotta clean up behind yourself as you go.
Yes, as
you
you
already
go.
know that.
Yes,
Mr.
that's
Knight.
right.
So
I
what
like
we're
a
gonna
clean
do here,
kitchen.
we're gonna put the batter here as well. This
Okay.
the bait. All you gotta do is pick it up, shake it off, put it in there, and we want about maybe 5 pieces at a time in there. You can
okay,
shake
I'm
the
okay.
extra off and begin to ease it down in this grease
Oh,
here.
we ready to put it in. Okay.
You're ready to put it in.
Okay.
In this
All right.
kitchen, we do all at one time.
All right. So here we go.
There we go. Here we go. Now we're gonna go back over
All
here and
right.
see that our chicken is doing
Okay.
just right.
Good.
It never takes wing long at a 425 degrees talking trash grease. Denella, it was so nice meeting you. I
Same
enjoyed it.
here.
I enjoyed seeing like you've been here for a week or two. But y'all getting ready to cut it short. And you know, I'm gonna send my staff. You're gonna meet my staff because I don't leave my kitchen.
All right, all right. Well, hey, I got some good food to look forward to.
Yes.
And thank you for teaching me how to cook perfect fried chicken and fried fish.
Yes.
Well,
And
it's
you're
been a
so
pleasure.
welcome. And it was my pleasure. It was Sandy's pleasure.
Larry, let's see how me and Sandy did on this fried chicken. Oh, yeah. It's crispy and juicy.
I had an amazing time frying chicken and fish with Miss Sandy. Just one thing, I couldn't get the secret recipe for the batter. And now, let's check out the artwork of Abraham Brown, a former Marine who turned his artistic talents into a passion. So tell me about the type of artwork and the type of media that you work in.
I do a lot of mixed media type artwork. I experiment, I do resin, I do joint compound, limestone, newspaper, tissue paper. So it's a vast array of artwork that I experiment with.
So Abraham, tell me about the piece that you're working on over here.
This is actually from a book, a photograph, and I've changed a lot of figures around. It's called Portrait of the Blues. And it just goes through like Chuck Berry, different blues musicians, and it had a beautiful photograph in there. And I loved the photograph, so, you know, I rendered it.
Right.
And
so are you working in wood? What is this?
This is, I carved it out. It's like a birch.
Okay.
So I carved it out in the birch, and then I used different types of stain to achieve different color elements and depth and stuff like that. Yep.
This is beautiful.
Thank you.
So for anyone that may be interested in coming here to Beaufort and seeing your art, where will they find you?
They can find me at the Beaufort Black Chamber of Commerce. Okay. That's where most of my artwork is housed.
Okay, so right here.
Yep, right here. Yep.
Wonderful. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Texas, Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina were some of the last states to learn that they were free. Next, we visit storyteller Miss Anita to learn about the value of embracing every part of history. And why is the history, the Gullah history, so important to keep alive, to preserve, to tell the story?
Well, you know, Gullah history really belongs to all of us. Gullah history belongs to the world. It is the blending of all of those cultures that came together during that horrible time in our history called the transatlantic slave trade. So it's a lot to tell. And we have to tell the greatness, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes.
Because there's no way that the few Europeans that came to Africa, the second largest continent in the world, had the power to take that many of us off of that continent unless we were involved as well. And we have to tell that ugly part of our truth. Because a piece of truth ain't nothing but a whole lie. I don't care who tell it. So if we're going to tell the story, we have to tell the whole truth, because that's what's going to set us free.
Our low country journey in Beaufort, South Carolina has left us invigorated. The remarkable significance of African American history has reminded us of the strength, resilience, and value of cultural diversity. As we continue our journey, let us celebrate the uniqueness that characterizes our country. Let's carry this spirit with us as we head to Jackson, Mississippi. I'm about to check out the two Mississippi museums. The Mississippi Civil Rights Museum shares the stories that change the nation.
Denella, we're going to start right here with Emmett Till. The story of this 14-year-old boy, and I say boy because people throughout the years have always said this Emmett Till, a man, but he was a 14-year-old boy who had come to visit his uncle in the Delta of Mississippi. And of course, him being from Chicago, you know, we want to be the big kid on the block and what have you, but for him to be able to go to a grocery store, to go in, and the conversation that he and the young lady had, I would never know. But what they say that's always been an interest to me is that she walked past all these children outside, went to the car, got a gun, and came back in. So that's why we always say allegedly, because we don't know what the interaction was between them in the store. But I can say this, stuttering, being nervous, and he whistled to get himself, to gather himself back together. And then he went outside, and we know what happened to him. Going the next morning, they came to his house. The family members, the husband and the uncle, they came to the house, and they went to the house, and when they went in, they asked, where's that boy that whistled? They took him, and when they took him to Glendora, Mississippi. They beat him. They did all these things to him. They connected him to a cotton gin fan and put his body in the Tallahatchie River. It hadn't been for the little boy who was out fishing and saw him and told others, and the only way that they could say that that was him was from a ring that he'd received from his dad.
But Pam, you say they beat him, but they did more than beat him.
Yes.
They killed him.
They killed him.
They mutilated him to a point. They disfigured his body.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is thinking about this 14-year-old boy and how he was probably calling for his mom, calling for help. And he said he never did this. Right. He didn't do this. And he kept telling these perpetrators, I did not do this. But they killed him, they beat him, and they threw him like you would throw away waste.
Right.
And what did his mom do? Afterwards, they took his body to Chicago, and she allowed Chicago to see this, and all over the world to see his mutilated body. And we have to praise her for that.
So Pam, so that he is never forgotten, say his name.
Emmett Till.
Emmett Till.
Yes.
May he never, ever, ever be forgotten.
Very true.
Yes.
So Denella, this is Gallery 3. The name of it is called This Little Light of Mine. And you see the sketches here on the walls that is done by Tracy Sugarman, who was a sketch artist who wanted to help in some kind of way. And he'd heard about this lady named Fannie Lou Hamer.
Yes.
So he came to Mississippi not only to meet her, but to document Freedom Summer. So as you see the sketches all over the walls, they're amazing. If you look straight over, then you see this photograph. That's Fannie Lou Hamer there. That is Miss Fannie. So he took a lot of time to sketch out the movement. And people have actually come into the museum and seen their faces.
Oh, wow.
Seen their faces. Yes. As we go up, we see the names of these people who have died or were lynched. You see Emmett Lewis Till, you see Lamar Smith, you see Mega Wiley Evers, Lewis Allen, Henry Hezekiah D. And we have spaces opened because we want to be able to place names there. It never stops.
Right.
It never stops. Civil rights will never stop. And then you see the sculpture here that we're standing under, this amazing sculpture. What it symbolizes is that white people, black people, all cultures came together, the entanglement, I call it, came together during Freedom Summer to help bring about change for the state of Mississippi.
But Pam, why is it important to keep these stories alive, these faces alive for the next generation?
These are our heroes. They had no idea what they were going into at all. So we need to know what it takes to bring about change. And these are the people that knew what it took. They were in a place where they organized, they strategized, they worked together as a movement to bring about these changes. So it's important for us to say their names and to continue to tell the stories about them for generations to go.
Absolutely. So Pam, where do we go from here?
Where do we go from here? We've made a lot of progress. We have a lot of work to do. In the last couple of years, things have changed, but young folks are ready. They're ready to activate. We got a lot of work to do, and I hope that they will understand and just learn the history of our forefathers and the work that they did. And we can move. The thing is, we're scared, but they were afraid too. The last book that MLK wrote was Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos, Our Community. And so he knew that it was not going to be one group. It was going to be everybody collectively to bring about change for not only Mississippi, but for the United States of America.
And collectively being all people, not just black people.
No, just everybody.
Right.
You know, it takes all of us. We have different cultures. It's a smorgasbord of cultures. Let's learn about each other. Let's work together as one. It says United States, so we have to become united as one to bring about change.
Next, we journey to the Smith Robertson Museum and Cultural Center to dive into the history of African American life in Jackson, Mississippi. Here we explore the origins and experiences of slavery and the lives of the first black people in Mississippi, including legendary novelist Richard Wright.
Smith Robertson School was known as one of the first black schools here in Jackson, Mississippi. One of the most important figures here that graduated as valedictorian was the well-known author, Mr. Richard Wright.
Yeah, he wrote the book Native Son, right?
Native Son and Black Boy.
Okay, all right.
And he graduated as valedictorian here with the last graduating 8th grade class.
I did not know that. The Smith Robertson Museum showcases the transatlantic slave trade. There, take a journey through the Middle Passage on the life-size replica of a slave ship. And so as we walk through this exhibit and as we walk through this replica of the ship, you see bodies stacked. Tell me about that.
We had men, women, children. Some were sick, some were not. A lot of those slaves that were traveling, most of them committed suicide because of how they were treated, how they had to travel amongst sick people, vomit. We're talking about urine, darkness. A lot of the women, they were raped, they were abused, treated very, very badly. Most of the men, as I stated, most of them did when they had break up top. They only had a few minutes up top. So once they got up top, most of them threw themselves over into the water because they were afraid of what they were going to endure into the United States or Jamestown, Virginia area.
As we continue on, we move from the slave trade to the civil rights movement.
Denella, this last exhibit I'm going to show you is the sit-in at Woolworth. Woolworth had one of the worst riots here in Jackson, Mississippi. The Woolworth restaurant was located here in Jackson, Mississippi on Capitol Street, the downtown area.
So this was all about the sit-ins, right?
The sit-ins, yes.
Right.
A lot of the college students that attended Tougaloo College, they participated in that sit-in. A lot of them, they were taught not to fight back.
Yes.
They were burned. They had coffee poured on them. They endured so much hurt and pain during that time. It had to be recorded. Medgar Evers made sure, honestly, that photographers would come out and capture the event as it was happening. Right. And it does show you the aftermath, and Moody and a couple of the other students, along with a professor from Tougaloo College during that rioting period.
I look at this map, and I see the sit-in locations in the 60s, and you see what? Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yes.
My daddy was a part of this one, and some of my aunts as well.
Wow.
That's our place in history there.
That is
right
our
there.
place.
Emmett Till and Medgar Evers are just a few social change heroes that we honor on Juneteenth. Join me as I visit the home of civil rights activist Medgar Evers.
So when the Evers moved here in the 1950s, they custom built this house so that everything would be safe for the family inside from the white supremacist society that was Mississippi. Medgar Evers was the field secretary for the NAACP here in Mississippi, and he became one of the most prominent activists of the entire civil rights movement. Unfortunately, on June 12, 1963, on this very driveway, Medgar Evers was assassinated by Byron De La Beckwith, but the stories we tell in this park are so much more than just the assassination story. When the bullet goes through Medgar's body, it'll then go through that window right there and travel across this living room to that hole over here. And once you pierce that hole, beyond that wall is the kitchen. So in a very real sense, this kitchen is heart of the home, was pierced by this violence that Medgar was working against.
Medgar Evers' home is a sobering reminder of the fight for equality. Be sure to visit this National Historic Landmark when in Jackson. From civil rights to Southern delicacies. Next, we visit Chef Nick Wallace at the Nissan Cafe inside the two Mississippi museums for a fresh take on soul food with history in mind.
Denella, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Nick Wallace, and we're here at the Nissan Cafe by Nick Wallace, located in the Mississippi 2 Museum.
So what are we cooking today?
So we're gonna do some chicken and grits. Traditionally, they like to do shrimp and grits.
Yes.
My grandmother, honestly, always cooked like chicken and grits, pork and grits, so we're gonna give you some of that soul today. It's gonna have some really good heirloom tomatoes, a lot of spinach, but I think you're gonna love it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. I'm gonna let you take the lead.
That'll work.
So you can go ahead and add like 5 or 6 pieces of chicken into this skillet.
Right.
1 good spoonful of the red onions.
A nice little heaping.
There you go.
Okay.
You can do a couple spoonfuls of tomatoes.
And,
Can't get enough of those. And then probably a couple spoonfuls of the mushrooms too.
Okay.
You can go ahead and place it down on an induction burner.
Okay.
And you can go ahead and add in probably about 1/2 spoon of those green onions in there.
Okay. Uh-oh, I'm
It's
making a
okay.
little bit of a mess.
It's all right.
All right.
All right.
All right, that'll work.
So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna just turn it up just a bit. This is that Nix 26. Now our step, we're gonna go ahead and add in some spinach.
Okay.
We're not gonna be shy with the spinach.
Just let it cook down here.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and hit it with a little bit of cream.
All right. Continue to kind of stir, mix it in here like this.
And we want to bring it completely up to a boil now. And so we're gonna go ahead and turn this induction all the way up. Just let it reduce down so it's gonna slightly starting to get thick, and then we'll go straight into plating. We got the grits nice and thick. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay in the grits in the middle of the plate. So this is how my plate always look with grits. And then we have the chicken kind of cream.
That looks awesome. This is so good. Let's keep the adventure going and indulge our taste buds in a mouth-watering Jackson, Mississippi classic, the Big Apple Inn.
I'm Gino Lee, and I'm the 4th generation owner of the Big Apple Inn. Berry Street, the street that you're on right now, is one of the oldest African-American districts in the United States that's actually still intact. Back in the 30s and 20s and even before then, this was the only place where African Americans could gather. Denella, really, I'm glad you're here because I've been cooking since 7 o'clock this morning, and I want relief. I want a break.
All right.
Will you take over for a while?
I can help you with that.
All right.
Give me the basics. Give me the basics, okay? I got my spatula. Okay,
yep.
I saw you mixing some things
Oh, yeah,
up.
yeah. Well, that's the raw meat over there. It's not quite ready. But this is the cooked meat here.
All right,
so what you do is grab the bottom part of the one and pull it in your left hand.
Okay.
And just the bottom part like this, okay? Now pull a little bit of meat over.
All right. Let's see.
Pull it to the side. Now, there you go. Oh, look at you. You were paying attention.
This?
That's it. That's it. Okay, now put the spatula down.
All right.
Now go over to the slaw. Grab a little bit of slaw and put it on top of that. There you go. Right. Now grab some mustard and just kind of just throw it on there. Just kind of a little bit more. Go on a little more. A little more.
A little more.
Yep. And
all right.
Let's not make it too hot. You can eat this.
Yeah.
You want it hot?
I want it hot.
Okay, you want to put some hot sauce on there, girl.
All right. Here we go.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Now grab the top here and put the top on it with your right hand.
All right.
Now lay it on the grill and let it warm a little bit.
Flip it like that?
No, just put it down like that.
Put it down like this?
Let it warm a little bit. Now mash it a little bit.
All right.
Now flip it over.
All right.
Use your other hand if you need to. Okay. And tell you what, when you're ready and you think it's warm enough, you can set it over here. Just
all right.
Pick it up at the bottom and just flip it over here.
All right.
Hey, look at you. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it.
All right.
That's it, girl. There you go.
All right, Jinko. Hey, I might have to open a franchise.
There you go. Let's do it.
Our Juneteenth celebration of travel destinations continues with a visit of one of Mississippi's largest HBCUs, Jackson State University. Discover the fusion of civil rights history and cutting-edge education at Jackson State University's COFO Center, where Juneteenth is celebrated with a unique blend of education and culture. Garrett, I've been coming to Jackson State University for years and years and years because, you see, I went to Southern University. But of course, you guys are doing some important work here at COFO, which is located right here on the campus of Jackson State University.
That's right.
What does COFO stand for?
So COFO is the Council of Federated Organizations. It was started in 1961 as an umbrella organization for the 4 main civil rights organizations, which you can see on the wall over here, which were doing work in Mississippi. The Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which is best known under the leadership of Dr. Martin Luther King. The NAACP, best known Medgar Evers and that story. CORE, the Congress of Racial Equality, and SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. In 1961, as the sit-ins kind of started happening around the South and civil rights activity became more from a ground level working up, these 4 organizations came together to distribute some voter money that was coming into the state, and as a way to work together, they did that because these organizations, while they all had the same goals, they had different tactics and how to do it. So COFO was brought together in order to, unify everyone under one cause. And so they did all kinds of work. If you in the back, they did the Mississippi Summer Project under Freedom Summer, where they had the Freedom Schools, massive voter drives where they got tens of thousands of Black Mississippians registered to vote, and did work all the way up through 1964, 1965, when the movement kind of transitioned a little bit, but after this Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. So important work was done in here with some of the biggest names. This is the actual place where it happened. It's a very important part of the civil rights history here on the campus of Jackson State.
Now, let's celebrate Juneteenth with Mississippi's soulful sounds of Malaco Records, honoring African-American contributions to music and culture. So, Jerry, some friends told me I could not come here to Jackson and not stop by Malaco Records.
Well, they told you the truth. You have to come by Malaco. This really is, when you talk about blues and gospel, this is like the Mecca. All of the greats, blues and and gospel has recorded here, come through here.
Like who? Who's recorded here,
you
Jerry?
talk about Z.Z. Hill, Down Home Blues, Bobby Blue Bland, Johnny Taylor, Little Milton, Denise LaSalle. Malaco just one of those studios that has a sound that cannot be replicated.
So, of course, Johnny Taylor is near and dear to my heart. Say, my mom and my daddy like, it's cheaper to keep her.
Cheaper to keep her, and then Jody's Got Your Girl and Gone. And, you know, here in Mississippi, because of the economics and all of the racial segregation things that was going on back in the 50s and 60s, a lot of our artists left and went to other cities who claimed them as their own.
Now, what about the Mississippi Mass Choir?
I could really say that the choir was birthed here. Frank Williams at the time was the executive director of the gospel division, and he knew the talent that was here, and he said, I need to form a choir of Mississippi singers. So in 1988, the clarion call went out. About 150 people came together. We recorded in October of that year. Project was released in January, went #1 in the country, stayed 48 consecutive weeks.
As our Mississippi adventure comes to a close, I'm left feeling deeply enriched and inspired by the diversity and legacy of this vibrant state. From civil rights history to flavorful cuisine, HBCU pride, and soulful music, Mississippi has truly captivated my heart. Well, it's time for me to close out this Juneteenth television special. I hope you enjoyed our journey through Beaufort, South Carolina, and Jackson, Mississippi. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, keep exploring. The more I travel the world, the more I appreciate how our similarities far exceed our differences. We are all so much the same in the way we laugh, the way we cry, and the way we love. For each person I can inspire to travel the world and to experience a different culture, and yet appreciate our kinship. We become one step closer to eradicating the ugliness of racism and discrimination so that we can elevate the beauty in discovering our shared humanity.
Travel the world with Denella Ri'chard. Travel the world with Denella Ri'chard.